So I have about 50 miles on this little engine. Judging from it's 2 miles where I am to way over there where the dinghy dock is, where I like to go. I have about 50 miles driving this little dinghy here, and it goes around 7 miles an hour, which is pretty good. But this is a displacement hull dinghy that doesn't work real well with a larger engine trying to plane. But first thing is, it runs really hot. So I put these things here. These are a pipe hanger cut in half and then the half rounded off and put on the bolts. You can see here's a pipe hanger, here's a pipe hanger. So these act as heat sinks. I'm in far south Florida. I mean, it gets hot here, and running an air-cooled engine when there's no wind in the heat, I thought it would be hotter than I'd like, so that's why I added them. I don't think they're really necessary, especially if you're up north. So you see 50 hours, and you see the this is the exhaust. And usually when you buy a like a lawnmower, the first thing that happens is the exhaust will like sort of burn a little bit because it gets so hot. So the engine does not get hot enough to discolor the exhaust metal. So there's the front of it, and there's one little hex thing here that holds the front on. You take that, undo that, and this whole front cover just comes right off. There's a spark plug, and you see it's at the very bottom of where the cylinder is. So that, and then now this is the coil that develops your spark. One wire, two wires. So this is the wiring that goes to, there's a switch here. It's a simple rocker switch. This rocker switch does not make the engine run. This rocker switch makes the engine stop. If you pull these plugs out and disconnect the switch, the engine won't stop until you put your finger over the carburetor inlet and choke it out. So if everything is connected and you're driving through the ocean and a big chunk of water, or any chunk of water, hits the rocker switch, the rocker switch will think that it's got a closed connection, and it will short out the spark coil, and the engine will stop. And if that happens, you just pull one of these, and that will disconnect the switch, and your engine will start and run. It comes with these tools here. This is a little bit tight, and if you put the screwdriver into that, you'll need a pair of pliers to get it out. But I haven't found any Phillips or flathead screws. Everything is connected by these three Allen's keys. Only Allen's is used. It comes with this little wrench. There's a small side and there's a big side. I haven't seen anything that this wrench will fit, except it might fit the spark plug. Well, it would. It was too small. These jaws were too small to fit the spark plug by just the smallest amount. So I had to grind this face and this face like a 32nd of an inch to make it be able to fit on the spark plug. So the spark plug is way down. If you flood it, this spark plug is going to be where every bit of extra fuel or perhaps water whatever is flooding it is going to collect. So it's not going to dry out. You need to take that spark plug out and you blow on it and put it back in again. So having this wrench, I think, is a crucial thing. Having the wrench actually be able to take the spark plug out. It's a 5/8 socket if you wanted to use a socket. And so if you can see, there's a blue piece of magic marker there. So when I turn this recoil starter and that blue piece of magic marker passes here, right here, you're going to hear a tink. Listen, listen. Did you hear that tink? Pull it for one full circle again, and it's going to tink. Oh, it didn't do it that time. There it goes, it tinked again. So when this thing's running, you're going to hear that tink. And you might think it's bearings slapping around or the engine's... No, that's just a lifter flopping back down onto its seat with a little tink sound. So don't let that discourage you. This is a centrifugal clutch, and the outer bell of the clutch isn't really the exacting circle, you know. So when you begin using the engine, it won't be broken in yet, and the engine will have a little wobble where the clutch catches harder and then doesn't catch. So, but that will quickly sort of break in and smooth out the inside of that clutch to match the expanding feet that grab it. So don't let that concern you at all. It will just it will lessen over some time. So I'm going to put spark plug thing back. Oh, this here, that screw right there, that's the idle speed adjuster. It comes set at a very high idle, and I didn't like that, so I backed that screw up just a little bit for a smaller idle. And now we're gonna we'll give it one pull and see what happens. Make sure this is in back is the So I sharpened up the propeller blades, the leading edge, because it was really roundy and big, and I wanted to get the maximum amount of speed I could out of it, because I'm just picky that way. So this, it says high, but it's actually low. We turn about 3 clicks, then you'll see the propeller start to engage. 1 click, 2 clicks. So you'll hear this racy rattle. That's the centrifugal clutch, and that's just the noise it makes. I wouldn't let it concern you. It will go higher than that, but I don't want to run it real fast without the back pressure of the propeller blades pushing in the water. So when mine came, there's the power head in one box and the foot in the other box. And you see this? See this connection right here? It's I should tighten that up. This is where the cable leads to the carburetor. This unit came with one of these little cable end on the engine and another cable end on the cable. And obviously 2 of them can't fit in the same spot, so I had to take one away. If you're trying to put it together and it's got 2 of these things, see that? It's got 2 of these things, you're gonna have to put one of them aside and use just one. Here, we'll start it up again. Oh, I turned the switch off. That's the carburetor. You see the choke. Closes. This, you have to really tighten it down a lot. I noticed there was a little bit of manufacturing scrap of plastic inside the gas can, and that could block the inlet. But look, this inside piece and this black piece, they come apart very easy. When you're going to fill the tank, don't ever pull it out and leave it like that, because you're going to jiggle stuff around, and this black lid is going to come apart from that white plastic and possibly fall in the ocean, and you don't want that. So when you're going to fill it up, take this thing all the way out and set it off to the side and fill your tank, and then put it back in again. Just saying. So when I got this, I didn't let it see any salt water, and I brought it inside and I sprayed it 2 times with a product called Bow Shield T9. And this is an anti-corrosion waxy thing, especially around the carburetor. And I don't know if it all burned off, because the thing does get very hot or whatnot. But oh well. The shaft is a 20-inch shaft from the top, where the transom bracket, to the top of the anti-ventilation plate. So, you know, that's the standard shaft measurement thing. That's a 20-inch shaft, or a long shaft if you want to call it that, as opposed to a 15-inch short shaft, which is standard for your regular 5-horsepower engine. So that's important to know. It's a 20-inch shaft, because a lot of times you're going to want that extra depth, and I think it's quite good. But the handle, this handle, actually came being on this side. You just undo, you know, loosen these. You don't take them off, just loosen them and swing it around, and tighten them again, and then you insert your handle into this jaw thingy here. The handle does not flap up and down. It's at one position. With your hands, you can undo this and you can change the position very easily, but it doesn't lift up and down or whatnot. As for tilting, this is a pin from like a sailboat stuff. So do you see this little doodad there? That doodad is supposed to hit the pin. And that's how I tilt it. That's how it stays up. The thing is top heavy, and it will want to flop down. Just saying. Oh, the lid really wants to leak, so you have to really close the lid hard. It wants to leak. I'm sure if I like get all the manufacturing burrs off of it, it will seal a bit better, and I won't have to sock it down quite so much. But when I do sock it down, it stops leaking and does not leak. There's no way to really measure how much oil. Perhaps laying it on the back will might make this dipstick show the proper reading. I I don't know. But I just measure very carefully 80 milliliters. I use a shot glass that has a milliliter measurement on the side, and it's like 3 shot glasses, up to like 30 millimeter, and then 20 millimeter to make it 80 milliliters of oil. The instructions do not say to put oil in here, but obviously you have to put oil in there, 90 weight gear oil. They only have one of these things tapped. There's a spot for another one way down there, but it's not tapped and there's nothing in there. So later you could drill and put one of these, but it's kind of difficult to get the thick gear oil in there. You buy a brand new gear oil material, and with something like the smallest drill bit you have, really, really micro small, heat it up and you melt a little hole through the tip of the gear oil spout, and you have the spout pointing in there but a little off to the side so that air can escape, and that's the easiest method to get gear oil into there. The tiniest hole in your oil spout, and not jammed all the way in there. You got to have it backed out and off to the side just a little bit so that air can escape. Try that and it will be much easier on you, and you'll be much happier. This is solid aluminum, or it's metal. It's not plastic, so I liked that. So, like I said, I got 50 miles going back and forth, run it through the heaviest of rain, and it's never missed a beat. Just now we had a super huge downpour, and I didn't have, I have this little bonnet that I put over it, just made out of sail material, but I didn't have the bonnet on it, and I think water got in there, or water got down here in the electrical, and it didn't want to start, and then I flooded it trying to get it to start, so I had to take the spark plug off and blow on it and put the spark plug back, and that's why the cover's off, and I figured I'd give you a little preview of what's going on there. Alright, thanks, see you later.